I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place the mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I'm an expert and I'm a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am Army Strong.
There's strong, and there's Army Strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, how y'all doing out there tonight? Yes, I know, I'm late getting on the air. I'm sorry, it was an evening filled with technical difficulties. I'm not going to bore you with my troubles. Now, there's someone out there, before I even get started mentioning the first news story of the day, I have to say something about. Gentleman I've met through Twitter. And his name happens to be Scott Harvath. And if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you guys for the first time, do something. Fire up your Twitter accounts and tweet at Scott Harvath to kick cancer's 6 o'clock. This man was a retired New York Police Department sergeant. He is now battling stage 4 esophageal cancer. If you scroll through his feed, no matter what's going on, he's still got a smile on his face. He's still in the fight. So, Scott are a very strong and amazing person. Stay in the fight, man. You got this. All right. On to the news. Good. Now, my stack of prep isn't as long as usual tonight. You could probably tell that when I bounced it. You could barely hear it tonight. Because of my technical difficulties, I was a little late getting on the air. So we're going to shorten a few things up here so we can at least have a show. I'm going to lead off with a story few of you have probably heard. In fact, I'm grateful somebody else brought it to my attention. So, all right. And I'm going to warn you, when's the last time you heard the name Benghazi? Yes, Benghazi. Oh, yeah. And this article was from Investors Business Daily. And I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. And I thought I'd seen them all. I really did. I thought I'd seen them all. And it's a little old, but I want to mention it. I know Barack Obama's days in the White House are numbered. But you know, the question I don't think has ever been fully answered. What was the president doing those 8 hours? And it very well may have been the only person he was consulting with was Valerie Jarrett. And there's a book out here, and I'm going to have to contact this author and see if I can get him on for an interview. Richard Miniter's book, Leading from Behind, The Reluctant President and the Advisors Who Decide for Him. According to some excerpts from the book, at the urging of Valerie Jarrett, Obama canceled the operation to kill Osama bin Laden 3 times. And then if he willing to take woman and only this woman's advice, cancel the mission to kill Osama bin Laden, not once, not twice, but 3 times. What else has she told him to cancel that could have made America stronger? I don't like her influence over the president. Now, she was born in Iran. Oh yeah, she was born in Iran. There's your tie-in. And I think a president, and yes, I'm delving a little bit into U.S. politics, you gotta bear with me. I think a president has to take advice from a number of people. Not just one. And on something as big as the mission to take out Osama bin Laden, I definitely think that it should have been a military advisor, not basically a political advisor. And I've jumped over to Valerie Jarrett's Wikipedia page. Her title is Senior Advisor to the President of the United States and Assistant to the President for Public Engagement and Intergovernmental Affairs. Chicago lawyer, a businesswoman, and a civic leader. And this is according to her Wikipedia page. Jarrett was born in Shiraz, Iran, to American parents James E. Bowman and Barbara Taylor Bowman. One of her maternal great-grandfathers, Robert Robinson Taylor, was an architect. I mean, there's a number of things here. Before she joined the Obama administration, Valerie Jarrett was the CEO of the Habitat Company. It was a real estate development and management company. And she is one of the president's longest serving advisors. There's very little on her personal life. So I'm not even going to bother it, and I don't think her personal life is really a problem. She assumed her office January 20th, 2009. What still gets me is that she was born in Iran. Now that may give her some interesting insight on the region, and that's fine. But it just troubles me that at her urging, President Barack Obama canceled the mission to take out Osama bin Laden 3 times. That's a lot. And I know Osama bin Laden is gone. I'm well aware of that. I'm also aware that the mission was finally authorized. Moving right along. Traces of explosives have been found on some of the victims of the Egypt airplane that crashed in the Mediterranean early this year. We're talking Egypt Air Flight 804. It was a flight from Paris to Cairo. And all 66 people on board on May 19th did perish. All right. Under a 1981 law, the discovery by the technical committee investigating the incident triggered a referral to the general prosecutor. So there is a criminal case open. Nobody has claimed responsibility for the crash. The crash came after Daesh claimed responsibility for blowing up a Russian metro jet flight on October 31st that was going from the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. So, like I said, they found traces of explosives on bodies of those who perished on Egypt Air Flight 804. I thought that was pretty newsworthy. Now, if you dust off that Syrian scorecard, boy, do I have audio on Aleppo. And in this case, I've got the audio from the horse's mouth. Well, sort of. There was a State Department briefing today, and none other than Secretary Kerry himself spoke at it. Now we're going to see if I managed to get the right audio clip pulled up the first time. Good luck tonight. They're even less categorized than usual. Let's see what I can do here, folks. Now, we're not going to listen to all of it. The entire remarks go on for some 17 minutes. We're going to do some snippets.
What we've been trying to do with respect to the tragic situation in Syria, and obviously mostly focused, or especially Aleppo. I don't think I have to elaborate, but I'm going to certainly focus on the anger and the anguish that everybody feels, or most people feel, about the continued relentless and inexcusable attacks that have been directed at the civilian population in Aleppo, including women, children, humanitarian workers, and medical personnel. And there is absolutely no justification whatsoever for the indiscriminate and savage brutality against civilians shown by the regime and by its Russian and Iranian allies over the past few weeks, or indeed for the past 5 years. Now, the position of the United States remains clear, and I have personally reiterated that position in conversations over the past weeks, and especially over the past 24 hours, with the UN Special Envoy, Staffan de Mistura, who I talked with earlier today, who's in Paris, meeting now with Jean-Marc Ayrault, and with senior officials from Russia, Qatar, Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and other countries in the region. What the United States is working towards, and has been working towards for some period of time now, under difficult circumstances where if some parties do not want to move in that direction, it remains very difficult to secure, obviously, a ceasefire. But what we want in Aleppo right now, which is the precursor to any ability to move to other things, is an immediate and verifiable, durable cessation of hostilities, and that includes all attacks by the regime, its allies, and other combatants in Aleppo. All combatants in Aleppo. And we've been working very hard on that. We worked on that in Hamburg in my meetings with foreign.
All right, we all know government officials love to hear themselves talk. So I'm not sure what he thinks is going to change. Thankfully, they were able to at least get the people out. I'm grateful for that. These people in Aleppo have been living under the most horrific of circumstances. And every time they tried and put a ceasefire in place, the bombs keep falling. All right, I'm going to jump in on towards the end of his comments.
The Assad regime not allowing, the Assad regime is allowing. And the Assad regime is aiding and abetting. And the Assad regime is actually carrying out nothing short of a massacre. And we have witnessed indiscriminate slaughter, not accidents of war, not collateral damage, but frankly purposeful, a cynical policy of terrorizing civilians. So we believe this is a moment where the Syrian regime and the Russian military have an opportunity to make the decision to a strategic decision, I might add, for peace. One that will make it possible for a cessation of hostilities all across Syria, which could flow right out of this. Every minister I've talked to said, we're for a ceasefire countrywide.
All right, so I am glad that Secretary Kerry at least said that the Assad regime, which, if you got your scorecards handy, Assad is propped up by Russia, aided by Iran and China. Now, Russia and Turkey are what I term frenemies. They're trying to make nice, but they're not having much luck at it. Because there was a Russian jetliner shot down, and Russia and Turkey want to resume some form of normal relations. However, they can't seem to stay on the same page because Turkey backs us. We actually use an airbase in Turkey to launch strikes against Daesh. And for those of you who are new to my show, Daesh, ISIS, ISIL, same group. I just prefer Daesh. It is the more common acronym and term used for them over in Europe and the Middle East. So he does lay the blame where I believe the blame falls, and he calls out on Assad to get a ceasefire countrywide. Now, obviously, no one can control Daesh. No one can control Daesh. But they could have some serious influence over it. Let me check the time here. All right. Our whole show clock was thrown off tonight because of my late getting everything pulled together. So we are going to take a brief commercial break, and yes, I am going to keep it brief. Hey, I don't want to hold up the Jen and Rick show. Come on. You guys know they were on right after me. You didn't know they were on right after me? Well, come on. Get It Together, Jen and Rick, followed by America Off the Rails. Yeah, that's right. That's the way it's supposed to work. So let's take that brief commercial break, and I am going to keep it shorter than usual. So I'm not even going to do the music tonight. Alright, we'll do the music. Maybe, if I can grab it, we'll do it. I normally have a preset, you know what, we're going to skip the music. I don't feel like finding it tonight. Alright, hang in there with me while we pay them bills.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Having a place to go after school will make you a better student. Having an outlet to express yourself will make you a better artist. Having something to do together will make you a better family. At The Y, we're helping build better friends, listeners, writers, swimmers, scientists, and musicians, one chance at a time. Give the gift of opportunity. Support The Y at ymca.net. The Y, for a better us.
God's Pure Word of Faith with Richard Harden can now be heard Monday through Friday mornings at 7 a.m. Central, 8 Eastern, and on Saturday and Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. Central, 7 Eastern. Join him and let's turn our country back to God. It only takes a spark to start a forest fire. Let's get on fire for the Lord. Right here on KLRN Radio and the Spark Radio Network.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
All right. Thank you for hanging in there with me over that commercial break. Now, just as a reminder, all those of you who are listening, whether you're listening live, listening Memorex, download me on iTunes, caught me on Google Play, found me on my website, wherever you are, I am asking you guys something for the very first time. Please, there's a retired New York Police Department Sergeant, Scott Harvath. Prayers, well wishes. If you're on Twitter, he's at Scott Harvath. That's SCOTTHARVATH. And for those of you who read Brad Thor novels, yes, that name sounds familiar. In fact, it was author Brad Thor, #1 New York Times bestselling author Brad Thor, who I happen to follow. And if you've listened to my shows, you know I've mentioned Mr. Thor on a number of occasions. That's how I found out about the fact that Scott Harvath is fighting stage 4 esophageal cancer. And he's doing an amazing job. But he always needs those morale boosters and stuff like that. So shoot him a positive tweet. Drop him a line. Say a prayer for him. Think a good thought. Whatever your way of sending good well wishes to someone is, please. Scott Harvath, retired New York Police Department Sergeant. He was a 9/11 responder. Come on. The world had flipped on its ear, and he ran to the trouble. Everyone else was running away. He was one of those brave men and women who ran into the trade tower area. He ran to help others, and now he is fighting the fight of his life. And you'd think his Twitter feed would be mopey, dopey, and down. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Alright. I know this show's a little different from a lot of shows. And the reason why, I had some technical difficulties. I was not able to get all of my regular show prep done. So we're kind of winging it tonight. And I do have an interesting story for the end. But see if I can find these remarks real quick from today's White House press briefing. President Obama allowed an Iran sanctions bill to become law without his signature Thursday, using a rare constitutional maneuver that hasn't been used in 21 years. Obama's decision to allow the Iran Sanctions Extension Act to become law ends the latest chapter of the debate over his pursuit of a nuclear deal with Iran, in which world powers agree to relax sanctions on the Iranian regime in exchange for specific commitments to curtail its pursuit of nuclear weapon. So, alright, usually, the little Schoolhouse Rock video, it goes through the House, the Senate, then the president has to sign it to become law, right? Alright. Congress passed the bill to give a future president the authority to snap back those sanctions if Iran violates the deal, said House Speaker Paul Ryan. It would give President-elect Donald Trump the opportunity to evaluate our policy towards Iran independent of additional interference from the outgoing administration. The White House has said the president already has that authority. Blah, blah, blah. We're not going to go there. All right. The White House conceded that it was rare for a president to neither sign nor veto a law. We find ourselves in a situation that I'm not sure we've encountered in 8 years. The bill didn't meet the standard of something that the president would veto, but it's also not something that the administration feels is necessary. The maneuver is made possible by a quirk in what's called the presentment clause of the Constitution. In a way, it's a flip side of a pocket veto. If the president doesn't sign a bill while Congress has adjourned, it's a veto. If he signs it while Congress is in session, it becomes law. Obama's pocket... If he signs it while Congress is in session, it becomes law. In like manner... Hey, this makes no sense. Hang on, let me look this up. But anyway, Congress recessed for the year last Friday, but remains in what they call pro forma sessions. It's a skeleton session, so they get a handful of senators to show up. The session lasts, I've watched them on C-SPAN. They're like 5 minutes long. The whole day's worth of Congress. Okay, let me see if this article has a better take on it. Okay. The White House had said that Obama was expected to sign the 10-year renewal. The midnight deadline came and went Thursday with no approval from the president. Josh Earnest said Obama had let it become law without his signature. Under the Constitution, the president has 10 days after Congress passes a bill to sign it or veto it or let it become law with no signature, if Congress is still in session. Although lawmakers have returned home for the holidays, Congress technically has not adjourned and is holding pro forma sessions. Now, the reason they do these pro forma sessions, these skeleton crew sessions, it is so to avoid, it's a political move. Let's be straight, Congress is political. The pro forma sessions is a kind of skeleton session where Congress remains open for business, usually to block pocket vetoes and recess appointments. So it's like, we're here, we're still working. Yeah, right, we're working 10 minutes a day, but we're still working. As long as they gavel in and say a couple lines and gavel out, it's a valid session. So I know there's a number of people that have to show up, but they can't really do anything because they don't have enough members present. That's when you'll hear of senators sending well wishes to individual constituents back home and that kind of noise. All right, oh my, where has the time gone? I know, I got a late start tonight. I do have one story I have got to get to you. And we're going to pull it up right now. And just as a reminder, you want to be on KLRN Radio this weekend, Saturday, 4 p.m. Why? What do you mean, why? Wait a minute. You're gonna kid me, right? You haven't heard about our Star Wars, Star Trek special this weekend? Oh. You definitely, we're Dr. Judy L. Moore, yes, she has a PhD in astronomy, is going to be hosting, and I'll be producing, a 2-hour, not one, but 2-hour live debate over Star Wars and Star Trek. And trust me, I'm pulling some sound effects we don't normally use that are copyrighted, but we are going to pull them out for this one show under the Fair Use Act because we're debating and discussing and critiquing the different shows. We can use them once, as long as they are not a substantial portion. So I will not be playing sound effects and clips the entire time, but a few will creep in. And I'm not even going to tell you what I got on my board. All right, I found this story on Press TV, but I thought it was worth bringing to you. So let's take a listen. Might help if I had everything queued up properly. I will get there tonight. It has been one of those days, folks. Let's take a listen.
A rare edition of a book written by the author of Harry Potter saga has sold for nearly $470,000. The handwritten and jeweled version of J.K. Rowling's The Tales of Beedle the Board was sold at auction at an unnamed telephone bidder. The rare book is covered in semi-precious stones and unique ornaments and features a note from the author. It tells the story of a wife wizarding fairy tales that were referred to in the Harry Potter series. There are only 6 other editions of the book. The author of the famous Harry Potter saga had handwritten and illustrated the book, and its other replicas for the people closely connected to her successful career. The manuscript of the first Harry Potter book was reportedly rejected by 12 other publishers before Cunningham read it and decided it has a chance.
All right, so for anybody who listens to my show that's a writer, even J.K. Rowling was rejected. All right, folks. I'm kind of peeking at the clock. Maybe I got time for one more story. Rick, I'm gonna pull one more story on you, but this one's such a good news story. It's perfect for the holidays. Gotta love it when things auto-start on my computer. This is from DVids. It talks about our military.
Roughly 200 volunteers, including international partners from Australia and Japan, came to Anderson Air Force Base to help pack boxes for the 65th annual Operation Christmas Drop in early December.
So today was the culmination of 11 months of hard work. So it's hard to believe that 11 months has all led to an hour of packing.
Approximately 140 boxes were packed with more than 40,000 pounds of essential supplies like tools, food, and clothes.
All right. The Air Force Base in question is in Guam.
And clothes, including toys for the kids.
It's more than just the items that are in the box. You know, it's really the spirit and the heart and the generosity that's behind it that I think means as much to them as anything.
Once the items are packed with a watertight seal, the boxes are taken to the flight line, loaded onto C-130s, and ready for delivery on more than 20 missions spanning nearly 2 million nautical miles throughout the Pacific.
Operation Christmas Drop is a great exercise to come out and be part of because we learn to operate with the Japanese and the United States. We're quite close allies and we upon to work together in humanitarian assistance missions quite often.
The boxes are delivered to the 20,000 people living throughout the Commonwealth of Northern Marianas Islands.
Well, today we got to unload just a lot of donations that people came together just to give. We were able to unload that onto our ship so that we can take that with us on our next underway trip. It's like part of my job, but it feels like, you know, a privilege at the same time to do.
Operation Christmas Drop has grown to become an annual holiday tradition, beloved by all on Guam and within the region. Reporting from Anderson Air Force Base, Guam.
All right, and it's where I get my DoD press briefings, my Inherent Resolve briefings. All right, folks. On that note, it's coming tonight. It's been a day, and I got a